Hey look, it's the final wonder. That means I've actually been playing on this map for a very long time. So let's talk about the most useful things that I'm going to use in my future playthroughs. Tip number 1. Focus on a single food source at the start of the game. As long as your beavers are fed and as long as they have water, they're gonna be happy and they're gonna keep working. That's pretty much everything you need to worry about. Tip number 2. Do not overpopulate yourself. I managed to get all of this done with not even 100 beavers right now. Actually, my total beds are 99. And if I'm being honest, we were at 60 for the longest time. I've only started increasing my population by a lot after placing these water pumps up here instead of, using the irrigation water. That is actually a perfect segue to the next tip. Tip number 3. Whenever possible, separate your drinking water from your irrigation water. That's because in hard mode, droughts and bad tides can last up to 30 days, in which case it's a good idea to fill up your water reserves during the good times, when there's no droughts or bad tides. You are going to need an army of beavers to do that, but you can pause these buildings and get your beavers back. Tip number 4. Do not underestimate haulers. You can place down a hauling post and set the priority to lowest so only your spare workers go over there and work. Haulers help all of your other workers by going to their workplaces and moving their resources for them, meaning that your actual hard workers who are making your resources and items can just focus on doing that, making items. Tip number 5. This button over here lets you prioritize a building by haulers. We were not able to fill up all of our water storage until we actually set all 4 of these to be prioritized. This is because the workers were busy moving all of this water over to the storage, a job which should have been done by the haulers. And tip number 6. It doesn't really matter where your hauling post is, because as you can see with these blue flying beavers everywhere, they don't care where their hauling post is either. Your haulers are going to basically traverse the entire district and move stuff from one place to another without any issues. Tip number 7. Make sure that you basically surround your residential district with all sorts of decorations and things and buildings and roofs and of course you need to have your own face over there as well. This is because the aesthetics bonuses over here are pretty low-hanging fruit that you can grab really easily. Excuse me, why doesn't this building have that bonus right now? Yeah, let's just place a tiny roof over here and that should be it. The reason you want these bonuses is because of Wellbeing. Wellbeing provides insane bonuses to your beavers' working speed, their movement speed, as well as their life expectancy. If I'm being honest, instead of increasing your population, see if you can increase their well-being instead. Because this beaver at just a well-being of 34 is basically working more than twice as fast actually. That also means these fellas can pump more water over here. Tip number 8, where we have to keep talking about water because this would not be Timberborn without talking about water, okay? Why can't we see the water right now? There we go. Okay, so 1 cube of water over here, which is basically like 1 box, is equal to 5 units, okay? Unfortunately, that means that this entire reservoir over here, which is basically like 7 times 4 times 7 can only hold 980 water inside of it. Do you know how insane that is? This entire thing stores less water than a single one of these large water tanks, okay? That is why it is never a good idea to store your drinking water in a reservoir. Always pump it out and put it in a large tank and then make it so that your water pumps cannot actually use it. Otherwise, you're gonna run out of irrigation water. Previously, we used to have pumps down here, which basically drained this entire reservoir in just 10 days. Now it can easily last us the entire bad tide, even if it's 30 days. Tip number 9 is also about water. Each beaver uses around 2.1 water per day. You can easily use this number to figure out if you need to lower your population by any given number. Just multiply the number of beavers you have with the number of days remaining in the drought and then multiply it by 2.1. That's how much water you need stored in order to survive. Oh, this place is coming along nicely over here. Oh, by the way, tip number 10. Do you see the dirt excavator over here? Anywhere. Yet, I still have access to dirt. Well, if I just come over here and come down here, you will find that I put a dirt excavator underground. This is amazing, right? Oh, this block doesn't need to be built. But hey, this means that there isn't going to be any massive hole in my map. Tip number 11. Thanks to these amazing things called a sluice. Thanks to these things, you can control how much water you allow downstream. Meaning that you can set up amazing irrigation systems across the map over here. This one actually wasn't my first one. My first one was up here, which is getting its water directly from my reservoir. This underground irrigation system is something I'm going to do in my future playthroughs as well, because now it's time for my favorite tip of them all. Tip number 12, which is probably going to be controversial. Stop leveling the map flat. Try and play the game without actually leveling the map flat. Work with the terrain and not against it, because that is going to, let you actually enjoy the game. Because every single map is basically the exact same if you're gonna level it flat, okay? Your playstyle, your building style, nothing on the planet will ever be unique if you just keep leveling this map flat, okay? This is the first map that I've played in hard mode, and I can confirm that there was a lot of effort and thought put into every single tree and every single one of these weird cliffs, and the ones over here and the ones over here, and pretty much basically every single block was not placed randomly. There was an idea behind it. And I think the best example of that is over here, where you can easily divert the bad water off the map as basically a reward for getting up here, Now, this is not my final playthrough. I'm still on this. And we're gonna go as far as we can push this game, okay? But even if we play any other map, we're going to avoid destroying the terrain and the actual structure of the map as much as possible, okay? Smash that subscribe button if you're interested in that playstyle. Can you finish already so I can stop recording these tips? Sir, what's taking so long? Oh my god, this is just insane. Okay. Yeah, so that's also something you can do, by the way. If you just come over here to the detailer, you can add your own icons and your own things over here. So the beavers can put those on their tails instead of, the preset icons. Oh, that was tip number 13, by the way. So now it's time for tip number 14. The large water pumps let you make more water per beaver even though it has 3 workers. So instead of placing 3 of the small ones, consider placing 1 of the large ones. There are similar results when you're placing the observatory instead of the inventor as well. Instead of placing 4 inventors, place a single observatory. And you're gonna be basically golden for the rest of your life, to be honest. Tip number 15 is something that we are yet to do in this playthrough, but that is something that I need to let you guys know. Bots are insane in this game. As long as you can afford them, there is basically no situation where having a bot is a bad idea. This is because bots cannot get injured, so they can work in all of these weird places that cause injuries and whatnot. And I basically want all of my beavers to enjoy life, sit back, and retire. Maybe that will be the ultimate goal of this playthrough. Who knows? Tip number 16 has been obvious this entire time, and that is this entire array over here of gravity batteries. Basically, I feel like people underestimate these, and if you are going to be making an aqueduct for yourself, you might as well place these on top as well. There is absolutely no reason for you to not do that. By the way, for folktales, combining the gravity batteries and the large windmills is actually a good idea. Because during droughts, when there's no bad water to, run your water wheels, wind during the night can charge up your gravity batteries, so you don't really need your water wheels at that point. If I ever run into power problems during a long drought, that is actually what I'm going to be doing. Tip number 17. Do not be afraid of mods. I am currently using T-Improve, which is basically Timprove. This mod is basically quality of life. It doesn't really affect the gameplay. There's the ability to show the game time, obviously. That's what you can see over here in the top right. But there's also the ability to enable the development mode speeds. What that lets you do is just tap 4 and all of a sudden everything goes at 30x. This doesn't really affect the gameplay at all, it just lets you skip some of the boring aspects of Timberborn, where you're just waiting for resources to get built or for your colony to survive the last few days of a long drought. There are some quality of life mods that I'm interested in using, but let me know if you're interested in a video of me covering those. Tip number 18. Irrigation extends underground, which means you can set up your wheat farm underground inside of a cave, while also setting up the entire infrastructure right outside of it. That is actually where all of our bread is being made, and by the way, we are pretty much capped out on resources. So that means we're not going to be having any food problems at all if I increase my population by a little bit as well, because all of these buildings are basically not working. Tip number 19. Once you're done with carrots, you should go for potatoes because it only needs a single step to grill them. Since you already have the grill, your next step should be the grilled chestnuts, which can be harvested by any gatherer flag over here with some chestnut trees around it. Oh, these aren't the chestnut trees. The ones down here and the ones up here are. After you have grilled potatoes and grilled chestnuts, your next idea should be to head towards bread, because bread kind of needs power. And by this time, you're probably gonna have it all figured out, right? which is basically tip number 20. The correct ratio of buildings that you need for making bread. Your farmhouse is going to be responsible for, getting the wheat. You need a single mill over here to turn that wheat into flour, but the problem is that this mill makes too much flour. Actually, it just makes enough flour for 2 bakeries over here. So that's what you need, 2 bakeries and 1 mill. You don't really need any storage for flour, but I just wanted to be extra over here. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Are you gonna be done anytime soon? It's just 300 more. That's what, like 10 more tips? Tip number 21, and this is when you can probably tell that I didn't really plan or organize this video. This grill over here needs chestnuts and logs to make grilled chestnuts. This one needs logs and potatoes to make grilled potatoes. So we have some warehouses over here, providing chestnuts, potatoes, but I didn't really place one for wood. That was a mistake on my part. So let's fix that. We're gonna place a small pile over here. This pile is going to have some logs, and this one is going to obtain logs. So basically, what's going to happen is that as soon as this gets built, I am 100% expecting a hauler over here to bring the resources over. Those are the haulers coming over and filling this place up. So now these workers are going to be able to be more productive because they can just grab the resources from over here and call it a day. By the way, we don't need to place warehouses for grilled chestnuts or grilled potatoes over here because the haulers are responsible for emptying out these grills, okay? No one else. They get the job done. We don't really have to worry about it. They actually get the job done so well that they also provide the wood. So we didn't really need to make that wood warehouse either. But hey, just in case the hauler was actually gonna go there, that warehouse helps them out as well. Tip number 21 is basically how you can tell that you might need to make more food or water. So this bat tide over here is ending right now, and I used around like 5,000 water. So that means if this does not actually fill up back to that 12.5k number over here, I'm in trouble. Because that means we are not able to make as much water as we were using. So while all of these water tanks over here actually provide a decent buffer and give me an early warning, they will not actually stop the slow collapse if you miss your water count going down slowly. Yeah, so let me just run this at 30x so we can watch this water count go back up to 12.5k. There we go, that's the drought being announced, so we still have 3 more days of filling up our water bottles. And there we go. So the drought just started. My water pumps over here are just gonna empty out a little bit, and we are back up to 12.5k as well. So what does that tell me? Basically that I am actually a genius. Just kidding. So basically that tells me that we're actually much closer to our production and demands and everything than I was initially thinking. There are a few reasons why this place over here is not working as efficiently as it should. If you look over here, the productivity is like 26%, right? And that is the same pretty much across the board. And that's because the haulers are busy elsewhere and they're not really up here all the time. This entire situation over here could be improved. And that is where the next tip comes into the play, which is tip number 22. I could, if I wanted to, make another district up here, provide the food and water to these people so that they could live. Actually, they don't really need water. And make a hauler base over here and just have a small population of haulers and these water workers living up here permanently. That would be the right way to do this. But I don't want the right way to do this. I want the wrong way, which is going to be bots. I'm just going to make bots so that they can work 24/7 because they don't need to sleep. And that is basically going to, increase our water production by a lot. Yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. How many times have I discussed bots now? I really want bots. So maybe we delay future tips until we have bots, Huh? Smash that subscribe button, join me on this playthrough as we discover, use and abuse the different mechanics of Timberborn to our advantage. Hope you liked it. Bye!